Are you looking to level up your author business?
Are you pounding your head against a wall, wondering what your next step should be? Then join me, Daniel Wilcox.
And me, Sacha Black, as we haul ass each week in a bid to level up.
Level up!
Come along for the ride as we delve deep into the business of writing,
Craft,
entrepreneurship,
and every level of the author journey. This is the Next Level Author Podcast. Hello, Achievers, and welcome to the Next Level Author Podcast, a podcast where we hold each other to account and track our step-by-step progress as we level up our author business. My name is Daniel Wilcox, and this week I'm joined by...
Sacha Black. What do you mean this week? Every bloody week.
We'll see how this lasts. So welcome to episode 0 of the Next Level Author Podcast. What we'll do over the next few minutes is basically just go through a little bit of what this podcast is, why we're doing it, who we are, and just fill you in on what you can expect. So I'll shoot the first question straight over to you, Sacha, which is, who the hell are we?
Well, I am a author of both young adult fantasy, soon to be adult fantasy, and non-fiction writing craft books where I try and help authors develop their craft. I am a podcaster of the Rebel Author podcast, and sort of a sweary, angry person half the time. I do some developmental editing as well, and generally, yeah, that's me. Wear a lot of purple, swear a lot. That's about me. Who are you?
That covers it all.
Yeah.
I'm Daniel Wilcox. I'm a author and podcaster as well. I write horror. Well, I label myself under dark fiction, but I tend to stick more towards the horror genre. I am 1/5 of the digital story studio Hawk and Cleaver, and one of the co-founders of the Other Stories podcast, which is fiction podcast that comes out every Monday, and also the host of the Great Writer Share podcast, in which I basically do what Sacha does with the Rebel Author podcast, but better. And I'm kidding. I'm just setting the precedent for how this is going to go. But no, in all seriousness, Rebel Author is fantastic. But we both interview different people, and we've had each other on the show and on each other's shows, and I think that leads a bit nicely into the next question. Do you want to ask it?
Yeah. Why are we starting this podcast?
Well, that is a big question. And I think it's a question that by the looks of what your eyes are telling me right now, you still don't know. So we're obviously both very, very busy people. We're doing a lot of different stuff, but we love podcasting. We love the community of indie writing. And I think that what we're going to aim to do with this podcast is find ways to hold each other to account, to really put our goals and our levels out there that publicly to people. Join us along on this journey. We're both full-time authors. We're both quite early on in the full-time author journey, and we're both looking for a way to step up and make this a booming business for both of us. So we figured, why not add another thing to the to-do list?
Yeah, I think the only thing that's missing from that for me is that I really, the way that we're structuring this, it's going to be an opportunity to stop and reflect and to go a bit deep and have those deeper conversations. And I definitely am missing that in my life because I just roll at 1,000 miles per hour. I never look back. I never stop. I just keep going. And so, I love your style of questioning. And so I think that's why this is selfishly going to really help me.
And I think that's the point as well. We both of our other podcasts, we're asking other people questions, and like you say, it's not a chance in which we get asked the questions often, and this kind of reflection is good because I'm the same. I don't never stop. I never reflect on what I've been doing. I just keep rolling ahead. So I think we've actually covered the next question, which was, what's the point of the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, also I think the point is that by reflecting on our achievements and our failures, or not failures, lessons learned, let's be positive here, I think that we will help other people to also reflect on their own businesses and their own journeys and where they are at, and also, help them to not make hopefully not too many mistakes that we've made, but the mistakes that we've made, that hopefully they'll avoid them and learn from us being accountable. So yeah, hopefully whilst we will be reflecting ourselves, I'm hoping that reflection will also help other people to look at where they are and to improve their own businesses and their own journeys.
Yeah, and I know that I'm going to make a public promise that I'll be as honest and transparent as possible, and I'm pretty sure that you, Sacha, are going to do the same.
I am, unfortunately.
Yes, because I think that's a scary thing. I think one big part of, I guess I know particularly with my other podcasts and the different things that I've been on other podcasts for, I think there are certain parts of my author business that aren't quite public that I'm more than happy to share, because ultimately what we're trying to do here is be open, find ways in which we can optimize, make more things efficient, get on that ladder and just get up to the next level. So you might hear some things on here that you've not heard anywhere else. So stick around for that good stuff.
Absolutely. So how can people get involved?
So we've got a Facebook group set up. Just literally type in the Next Level Author. Is it a group or podcast? Look for us on Facebook. We'll put a link in the show notes. But yeah, we've got a group.
Well.
We've got a group set up. So just jump in, get involved. We might look at some other options for people to get a bit more involved in the future. But yeah, that's where you'll find us. And when is this going to air, Sacha?
It's going to air every morning in UK time on Tuesdays.
Perfect. So yeah, that's the Next Level Author podcast. We'll hopefully already have a few episodes lined up and on the feed for you guys to get involved in. They're a bit shorter than our other podcasts, but they're full of 1,000 nuggets of goodness. And particularly for authors who are looking to take that next level, definitely stick around because we want you on this journey with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we'll see you on the other side. Hungry for more?
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can hear more of my angelic accent and Dan's dulcet tones on our other podcasts.
For more of me, check out the Great Writers Share podcast.
For more of me, listen to the Rebel Author podcast. We'll be back next week holding each other to account as Dan
and Sacha
become
Next Level
authors.
We'll find some goodness in there.
Yeah.